I've gone through personal tragedies, illnesses. You don't know me. And to judge me.
And apparently you don't know me if you levy personal attacks on me concerning two unelected women, probably the worst politicians in the history of Flagler County.
And I totally object to those comments.
Early voting starts today, and Palm Coast residents will choose between Mike Norris and Cornelia Manfrey in the mayor's race.
Candidates Norris and Manfrey went on Friday's free-for-all to make their case one more time to voters. Manfrey opening up with accusations that Morris threatened to beat up another candidate, Alan Lowe.
Now, I wasn't there, but I know if it's true. However, I've seen the video of you speaking to Alan's wife later that afternoon. Since I can't show the video here, let me quote you directly from it. And everyone listening, please excuse me for repeating vulgar language.
Uh-oh, here we go.
I know your husband is a piece of ...
Thank you.
And that's who he is. You need to move along. Your husband is a ... Go away. Is that how you speak to women? Mr. Norris, do you speak to your wife like that? Your mother like that?
Norris took offense to what he called a personal attack.
That morning, Alan and I had a personal conversation, and I won't reveal that conversation because it was a private conversation, but he felt the need because he was desperate for votes, because he's an unelectable individual. So he had his wife approach me with a camera and start talking trash to me. And I don't know why you feel the need to attack me about a conversation with someone else.
Coming up tomorrow and throughout this week, we'll get into some more substantive issues affecting voters in Palm Coast.
Good morning, Flagler County. I'm Rich Carroll. You're listening to Flagler's Morning News on Monday, October 21st.
We've had the robot for a few years. The only difference is that we didn't have the talented people, like I said, to kind of build something great. You need the technology, the infrastructure, and you need talented people.
Advent Health is bringing new life-saving technology to Flagler County.
I tell patients the perfect surgery is a surgery with no complication, less bleeding, or no bleeding actually at all, no scars, and you're back home in no time. This is getting us a step closer.
Dr. Abu Bakr Ali is director of robotic surgery at Advent Health Palm Coast. He says these new techniques are good for doctors and patients.
We're talking about having small cuts in patients instead of staying in the hospital for 5 to 7 days, being discharged the same day, and sometimes after 24 hours. I pioneered same-day discharge surgery at Detroit, where patients are having colon cancers and going home the same day. We actually did it here at Palm Coast. Our first patient was right before the hurricane. Had her surgery, went home, only taking Tylenol. Saw us a week later, doing extremely well. She's working, cleaning after the hurricane, and doing extremely well.
Dr. Ali says the technology is now available to patients 24 hours a day.
The way that we looked at it, why we wanted to achieve it, is that we wanted to provide equity of care, meaning that if my father, my mother, my family member is having a surgical emergency at 2 p.m., I want them to be treated the same as if they presented to the ER at 2 a.m. with the best technology available out there. So now we're able to establish that in 1 week, and we're one hospital out of 8 hospitals, out of a total of 60 hospitals in Florida that provide that care right here at Palm Coast.
From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Daryl Moody.
This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, US 1 St. Augustine, here to wow you. A 19-year-old Miami man was arrested in Flagler County after deputies from the Flagler County Sheriff's Office recovered a stolen vehicle. The FCSO's Real-Time Crime Center alerted officers when a stolen 2024 gray Honda CR-V was spotted exiting I-95 onto State Road 100 East in Palm Coast. The car had been reported stolen in Miami. The vehicle was located in the parking lot of a racetrack gas station. After units arrived, deputies conducted a high-risk traffic stop. Despite several commands, the driver eventually complied and was taken into custody. The driver was identified as 19-year-old Brandon Hernandez Brosey of Miami. He's currently being held at the Sheriff Perry Hall Inmate Detention Facility on $10,000 bond. Hernandez Brosey has a prior criminal history in Miami-Dade County, including narcotics possession and theft. The Flagler County Sheriff's Office now has an enhanced crime tool.
The new Arrowhead Forensics Full Spectrum Imaging System 2 allows crime scene investigators to detect fingerprints on objects and humans in the FCSO crime laboratory or the scene of the crime. Flagler County Sheriff Rick Staley.
The Sheriff's office CSI unit has new high-tech equipment to locate and process fingerprints. This new technology replaces the old way of dusting for fingerprints, so we could also use DNA on it to find suspects.
He adds this innovative system can locate and capture fingerprints and marks on a variety of layers of a substance in just a few seconds, including glass, metal, wood, paper, thermal paper, and even food items.
And the best part about this is the drug dealers of Flagler County paid for this equipment. It costs $135,000 through drug assets that we seize, taking a bite out of poison peddlers' profits.
Flagler County Sheriff Rick Staley. For Flagler's Local Morning News, I'm Karen Johnson.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.
And now, Mike Lee Show with your WNZF local sports update.
Friday night, FPC football returned to the field for the first time in 2 weeks, making a long trip to Yulee. Hayden Hayes threw 3 touchdown passes to give FPC a 21-7 lead in the second. The Hornets fought back to tie it at the half at 21, but Hayes proved too much to handle, finishing with 354 yards and 5 touchdown passes. 3 to Mikhail Isaac, 2 to Braylon Simmons in the 35-24 win. Marcus Mitchell ran for 162, Lucas Sahara had his 5th interception of the year, and Jesse Shirley had 16 tackles. Now 6-1, the Bulldogs look to keep their district title hopes alive when Spruce Creek comes to town Friday night. Listen here or watch on the Flagler Radio YouTube channel. Friday night, Flagler College softball hosted FSCJ in a fall scrimmage. Former FPC Bulldog Alexis Laura made her college debut for the Manta Rays.
I was super nervous to start off. I couldn't catch my breath and I kept rushing myself, but eventually I got in my groove.
She did indeed get into a groove, striking out 3 in the first 2 innings. The Saints were one of the best hitting teams in Division II a year ago, and in her 3rd inning, they loaded the bases, but Laura pitched her way out of it.
It was definitely a different experience from high school. They're a good team, they're hitting, so you kind of have to place the ball.
Lexi pitched 5 strong innings for FSCJ, but Flagler prevailed. FPC Cross Country was in Jacksonville Saturday for the New World Spectacular meet. The girls finished 8th out of 36 schools, led by freshman Peyton Sarasi, who ran a school record time of 18:35. On the course, Sarasi wasn't focused on records.
All I was going into the race was just to break 19, and I didn't even realize until my dad told me.
Peyton's reaction upon hearing she had broken a 20-year-old mark?
I was ecstatic, and I'm just so grateful that I got to do it, and it's in my freshman year.
Up next is this weekend's 5-star conference meet. WNZF is your home for local sports, with updates Mondays and Fridays. From the sports desk, I'm Mike Lucio.